the Nancy Guthrie case. It is Wednesday, February 25th. There's nothing new as far as advancing the case. There's just some other stuff coming out that's kind of muddying the water a bit. If we roll back to the very beginning in this case, the sheriff made a statement about Nancy having been pulled from her bed or torn from her bed, whatever, during the night and whisked away. Mass media and a lot of us here assumed that meant there was possibly some sort of evidence she was literally taken from her bedroom, from her bed. He then backtracked on that later, saying that was just an expression, that they had no actual evidence she was taken directly from her bedroom or her bed. And then just yesterday, Savannah Guthrie's most recent video, she used that same expression. I don't remember the exact quote, but taken from her bed or something. So that brings that back up. There's also the other picture of the suspect in this case that was released within the last week that shows him, but from the same doorbell cam, kind of standing back from the porch, same jacket, same mask and gloves, but without the backpack and without the weapon. Now, media had reported that from their sources, this was from a day or days prior to the abduction. Sheriff just yesterday or today came out and countered that, saying there is no timestamp of the images. As far as speculating whether it's the same day or a different day, he said that is all just speculation at this point, which really the entire case for us has been just speculation at this point because we don't have all the evidence they do. And we can, unfortunately, we get people filling in with just rumor that's coming out from here and there. So it's kind of just throwing it into mayhem. But let's play with that speculation. Let's play both of them. If that image of the person is from a previous day, does that mean he'd been casing the place, right? Looking for an opportunity. It might be unusual that he's casing at night in pretty much the same outfit he's going to use later. You're pretty much just taking the risk of alerting the neighborhood and have them watching for you later on. I mean, it's not completely off the table, but that would seem to be kind of unusual. I know there are rules in that neighborhood on essentially light pollution, which is why they have no street lights, and there are apparently restrictions on yard lights. But I don't imagine that goes to the extent that everyone has to have all the lights inside their house off by a certain time. That would be kind of ridiculous. So it would be interesting for me to walk through that area at night and see if Nancy's house was the darkest one they came across. Perhaps she had no lights on in her house at night at all, and other people may keep night lights on here in their house. A very dark house, that would make it an easy target. If we're talking about the possibility of just a random burglar and this whole thing being a burglary gone bad. If it is from the day of, what happened to the backpack and the weapon? Why isn't it there? Is this from before? Was he scoping out the house? It looked likely, so he went back to a vehicle and got that equipment. It's a possibility. We can't take that off the table. But if we're going to play the idea that this was a robbery gone bad, that something happened in that house that accidentally took the life of Nancy Guthrie, and the intruder panicked and just decided, I've got to get rid of this body. Why would you do that in a panic, especially irrational panic? Because of the thought, if there's no body, then you can't be charged with murder, right? Even though, as we've said in previous videos, that's not necessarily true, but that could be the thought process. So what we might be seeing in that second picture is the individual has left the house, gone back to their vehicle, perhaps moved the vehicle closer, left their backpack and weapon to come back to carry the body out. And that would likely be the point at which they would have busted off that camera, because they definitely don't want an image of carrying the body out of the house. So again, all of that is just speculation because we don't have the hard evidence there. We know there has been DNA found in the house. We don't know specifically the origin as far as what sort of bodily fluid is it, or is it touch DNA? We haven't heard any official word on blood found in the home. All we know is what we've seen from the pictures of the blood trail coming out. So again, we're dancing around here with a shot in the dark on here. So I have noticed, as this case goes along with no new information, It is starting to trend less. It is getting less both mass media and social media attention. People who have picked it up and are sticking with it are still sticking with it, but a lot of the peripheral attention is starting to fade on it, which will happen over time if nothing new comes up, if a body is not found, if a perpetrator is not arrested. It will fade and just become one of those cold cases over time. So that's all we've got here, which is nothing new. In the videos, the last video Savannah Guthrie put out, could definitely see the strain of this working on her. I imagine it has to be hitting her pretty hard, that this might have happened because of her high profile print, her fame, that her mother may have been targeted because of that. And that's probably really eating at her. For her sake, it would be better just for her long-term mental health. I mean, nothing brings your mother back, but she could at least remove some of that blame if it ends up being discovered that this was just a random burglary gone wrong and the individual had no idea who it was that was in the house. If this is going to turn out bad as far as Nancy not being found or not being found alive, I just hope for Savannah's long-term sake that self-blame can at least be removed from it, because that would be a pretty harsh thing to live with on top of the loss of a parent. That's all we've got today on Wednesday. Who knows when or if we'll hear anything more on this case, but it's still out there.